Hi, I'm Danny with etrailer, and today we're going to take a look at and I'm going to show you how to install the conventional ramp door springs on our enclosed trailer here. These springs are made out of a durable steel, so they're definitely going to hold up whether you're using this for construction or for recreational purposes. Chances are you're getting this kit to replace your existing spring because it broke or it no longer works. Our neighbor actually had a single spring system and he had a cable snap on him. So upgrading to this double spring system is a really great idea because it allows you to tension each side independently, which will help balance the door a lot easier. This makes bringing up the door really easy. I can simply do this with one hand and it'll actually completely close. Now this will also make it a lot safer when you're bringing it down, so all that weight of the door doesn't just come crashing down. This spring today is rated for doors that are 8 feet wide and doors that are 185 pounds. Now this will work with doors that are 10 to 15 pounds over or under that amount. And how you get that measurement for your span is you want to measure from wall to wall inside your trailer. And we have 8 feet today, but you can use a span of 81 inches as well. All you'd have to do is move these springs closer in and cut one side off. And lastly, you're going to want to find the weight of your door when it's in the down position. And of course, you're going to want to do this without any of the springs helping it, so you get the full weight of it. But you can use a bathroom scale, but make sure it's not a glass one, make sure it's durable and it will support the weight. But again, yeah, just do it without the springs and get the weight of your door, and that'll help you determine what springs you're going to need. If you have any further questions about what spring is going to be right for your door, then don't hesitate to reach out and we can get you some help on what you need. Now, as far as the install goes, I would highly recommend you have experience doing this before you get into this. If you don't, then please feel free to check out our dealer locator. We can find a professional in your area to do this for you and get it tensioned because it can be quite dangerous. Now, if you have experience, then follow along and I'll show you how to get this installed. First off, we can install our tension cable. Now, we already have a welded on bracket that I'm going to use to get this attached, but if you don't have that, it does come with this bracket in the kit where you can screw to the frame and use a cotter pin to get this held in place. Make sure you mount it in a location where when this is pulled tight, it won't rub the frame. But I did just pick up some hardware. This does not come in the kit. I'm going to use a bolt and nylock nut here on the end to get this tightened down. I'm not going to tighten it all the way down. I will just tighten it a little so it has a little bit of freedom and range of movement. These are the brackets that come in the kit, and the old spring did have these welded brackets that attached their hardware with. But if you didn't have this, they do have these where you can bolt onto your frame or use self-tappers. But it looks like our holes are going to line up, so I'm actually going to use the carriage bolts that were already installed. Put them through these square holes and then line our bracket up and put our hardware on. And I did tighten this bracket down. So we're going to come down to the spring here and get these coil drums loosened up. They're going to be a square bolt and they will be 11mm socket, but you will need a 12 point for this to work. Meaning there's going to be 12 sides in the socket. I'll get these loosened up on both sides. Get these pushed more towards the end. On these winding cones, there's going to be one side painted red and one side painted black. You're going to want the red side faced to the left when you're standing inside the trailer. So now I'm going to grab some help and get this lifted into place. Got Tom helping me and he's on the red side, and again that's going to be on the left when you're facing in the trailer. So now I'll go ahead and put this into place. And just set it on those brackets. Now we can take that same 11mm socket and get our springs loosened up. I don't want to take these all the way out, but I do want to loosen them so they can freely spin. There's going to be slots in this bracket, and that's where our hardware is going to go in. I'm going to push this out of the way so we can get our hardware in. This bolt and nut do come in the kit. slide both these in. I'm gonna make sure our bearing is inside the spring. Now I'll get the holes lined up. Pushed into place. And I'll get our hardware tightened down. And I will tighten these down with a 14mm socket. And I'll do this to the other side as well. With these tightened on both sides, we can now move the bar and get it even between the walls. So I'll just measure the wall to the bar and get that even on both sides. One thing I want to check before we proceed here is that our cable is going to be straight and not come into contact with our frame. So I'm going to put this where it's going to start winding up, and we do have clearance, so I'll go ahead and tighten this cable drum down. Now I can move the whole bar and tighten the other one. And I just want to tighten one side for now, and I want to leave the other side loose. You're going to want to have vice grips for this next step. I'm going to have those on standby. And there's going to be a crimped metal piece on our wire, and we're going to simply put that in that slot in the drum. And now I'm going to spool this on. Till it's tight. Take the vice grips, I'll put it on the bar to keep this from spinning. There we go. And on this side, the whole bar will stay stationary and just the drum will spin. So I'll go ahead and put our cable in this one. Get this wound as well. It looks like I can get to one bolt here. I'll go ahead and tighten this with the drill. And the other one I'll have to get with a 11mm wrench. So I'm going to get this started with an 11mm wrench. And this one is a little difficult to get to. But once you get it most of the way tight, you can switch to a 10, because that will be the exact size of that square bolt. We are now ready to tension our springs. Now I am using these 1/2-inch diameter bars that should be at least 18 inches long. You definitely want to pick these up because this can be a little dangerous. So now I'll go ahead and tighten these down. These springs are rated to do 10 full revolutions. So I'm just going to mark one of these holes so I know how many revolutions to count. And I am going to just do 8 on both sides just to see if that's going to be enough. I'm going to get the bar in and go down with it. I'll just keep doing this until I get 8. So that would be 1 revolution. And that's 8 revolutions there. So I'll go ahead and hold it while I tighten these 2 bolts down. I got this side marked, and I'll do the same thing on this side. At this point, we can take our vice grip down, and we'll test the door. It is the next day, and we did determine that we need 2 extra rotations to put them up to that full 10. And as you can see, we tested it again, and it's all working properly. And that was a look at the conventional ramp door springs on our enclosed trailer.